is not a drill, this is not a drill. All warriors mount up. Proceed to nav point Gamma. Rendezvous with Mobile HQ for tactical and situational analysis. Welcome to the MHQ Podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Jose. I have Randall, Ronald, and Bradley here.
Hey.
And we're going to have a little Q&A session with Bradley and Ron, who had a major battle, a campaign battle. I even forgot to ask how many PV there were per side, but we're talking some serious units on the table.
Yeah, so let's get into that. So first of all, who were the aggressors and defenders here? So we know it was a campaign battle, but this was a huge PV. This is probably the biggest battle we've seen in the campaign so far.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was the defender of this world. I came up on my campaign as Garrison, and I was like, oh great, another Garrison mission. Let's hope it doesn't wind up with cadre duty or no action. And I got a role for Clan, and I turned on tap Ron to be the aggressor in this. He was going to be playing Op Force. I told him basically some of the ground rules for his force, because he's still kind of like new to the campaign, not really playing the bigger fights into it yet. So I gave him a little details on his SPA skills that he could get, how many gunnery skills he could have to per se, making sure that his beginnings would be at least matching what I had on the table. So it was like an even fight as far as SPA skills go and command skills that we were using in the game.
Okay.
Our PV battle was 2600 PV.
Okay. So that was even. So how much did you have for a war chest beyond that?
Oh, I still had 300 PV left over.
So question to both of you. Bradley, how many point value was your force? How much PV?
2600. Sitting on the table was like less than 2270 something.
Okay.
Because I had support elements off board that were not there, like my engineers, my medics, repair vehicles, ammo supplies. I brought everything to support my force in the field.
Okay. And Ron, how about your force? What was total point PV value of your force?
Like I said, 2,600.
2,600. Okay.
That was everything that was on the table?
Yep, that was everything. Like I said, that was everything. There was no reserve. It was all on the table. I was up for it.
Yeah.
Just like a clan. All or nothing.
That's all there on the table.
Cut down the bid.
So, what was the premise of the game, Bradley? I know you were the mercenary company who was holding down a place that was being hit by the Smoke Jaguar.
Yep.
Yeah.
We basically decided to sit down and replay one of the Smoke Jaguar counterattacks, because Ron is a big Smoke Jaguar fanatic. So I wanted to give him an opportunity to play a mission. And I said, here's the perimeters, and then he was like, well, I'm going to pick this. And we actually went on SARnet and looked at the schematics from the battle, and I came to see that not only was the 19th Strike Cluster there, but they also have their Galaxy Commander there as well. So I told Ron, I was like, look, 5 of your guys has got to be a command star for your Galaxy. And
you had named pilots, right? They weren't just generic. These were actual canon.
Yep,
canon pilots, right?
Correct. Yes.
Go ahead, Ron. You detail your Jaguar force.
The Delta Galaxy had the actual Galaxy Commander, Hang Metha. She was in there on the force. And then also for the 19 Striker clusters, it was Thrilla Showers, and she was in her Dire Wolf. So it was Alpha Supernova Assault, and Delta Galaxy Skyrider Crash Star Alpha Command.
Okay. So, like, what kind of SPAs did you give your force, Ron?
For my command force, I had Overrunning Tactics and Berserk. That was my command SPAs, just because of the Jaguars and stuff like that with what was on there. And this 19th already had Overrun Command or Overrunning Combat, and I just picked some random SPAs for the certain pilots and stuff like that as well. Just a mixed bag, like Complete Attacker and Sandblaster and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. So you had both command abilities and the pilot abilities. So Bradley,
Correct.
what kind of abilities did you have on the table?
Well, let's see. I was only able to get myself with one command special ability because my mobile HQ unit was on par to my commander's skill. It was still skill 3 to skill 2 for my commander. So I only got one.
Interesting. What was your command skill that you got?
I got the false flag. I find it to be one of the
Sir,
my
I
favorite.
trial a trial of grievance against you on this combat.
Any day, sir. Any day.
Please look up the prerequisite to have false flag for a command skill.
Yes.
Oh,
It is very devastating, and I even
Look the prerequisite up, sir. Look it up now.
uh-oh. We have a challenge on the table.
Uh-oh. What about it?
So is that the
You
one
must-
that you need to have two commands? One of them
Yes.
for off-road, and you have to have the other one?
Yes,
Yeah.
for false flag, you must have off-table movement command as well.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh, George. Trial of grievance.
Oh, I
We're going to have to replay it.
that one.
Reset, do it all over again, another 6 hours.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
That's
Kind of
all right.
missed that one.
No worries, brother.
Oops.
No worries.
That's fine.
Basically, all that does is allows an opponent to put 1/3 of their army off the map, and by turn 3, they can come back on the map, roll a 10 or better on 2d6. If it does, then if you roll a 8 or better, you actually are able to bring them in even into your opponent's deployment zone, hit them from behind. Every time when I've used this command special ability, I've always rolled a 7 for some odd reason. So they always come in on the flanks on my side of the board. Another plus side for using that one is you also, during the turn when the false flag comes on the map, you gain a +2 to your initiative. So that's very useful when it hits, and it's timing. You don't have to do it at turn 3. It's anytime after turn 3.
Right. So you had other special pilot abilities. What kind of pilot abilities were you focusing on?
Well, mine was all based on campaigns, so majority of my SPA skills were allocated inside with my engineers. Some of the ones that you came up with from our campaign are in those. But I did have a few out there on the table. I had my tactical genius for the commander. I had some sniper, hot dog, sandblaster, cluster hit, range master. That's really it. I didn't have a whole lot of SPA skills for a lot of my guys. The archer had the cluster hit and the sandblaster. The marauder had sniper, hot dog on him. And then one of my Zeus had the range master, and the awesome had sniper. That was it.
So you also had, as the defender, you were entrenched.
Correct.
So
that is correct.
What did you do with your entrenchment actions?
Okay, as far as my entrenchment actions, I had 16 armored vehicles, and I immediately decided that I only wanted to put 2 lances in hiding. I put a lance of 4 Typhoons with the autocannon 2 capability with armor piercing on one side of the map, and then on the other side of the map, I put in another one of the buildings, I put an Alicorp 4 with the AC 6s, and I put that with armor piercing, and then it had 2 Challenger X's, and then it had a Von Lucker as well. And I was planning on busting them out as soon as that false flag came out, basically hoping the clans would rush forward into this nasty armor assault. Another thing from being entrenched is I gain special abilities from artillery. I was able to allocate up to 4 automatic hit spots. Also, I had 16 battle armor there, which under the rules for our campaign, I could have laid 16 minefields out there. I just didn't want to do that, so I concentrated them into... I put them basically into the first only 6 plots, and I put the minefields to be coinciding right where I was putting the automatic hit for the artillery. My choice at that point came, what type of minefield would I use? I chose the command detonated EMP ones. That's a pretty beautiful mine. What it does is when it goes off, it has a 6-inch effect. It does 1 point of heat, and it also, for the next 3 turns, adds a +2 modifier to hit for each individual caught underneath that blast zone from the EMP minefield. So that's pretty impressive. When he would sit there, he did get 1 point, some units in the blast zone, and I was able to hit it with the artillery, with 4 arrow clusters and the EMP, and it's just devastated one of his stars. Like they couldn't hit even after being done.
They hit.
Yeah, well, they still had their chance because they weren't dead yet.
They still hit.
So, Ron, did you have any special units or special upgrades on your force?
No, like I said, I was completely out for. Had none of the bolt-ons or anything like that. I just basically landed pretty much straight clan tech, what it was. No artillery, Disgraza. No mines, Disgraza. What's that?
No, you did not have any of the SPAs.
I did have SPAs. I did have SPAs on my.
But you didn't use a lot of stuff. But what you did bring was a bunch of your modified mechs.
Yes.
And some of them were beasts. The miniatures. Some of them were beasts. And I'd love to hear which of those was what you thought was your star. Your best mech on that. Those versions.
Of all of it, I really did like Thrill of Showers Direwolf S. I wish I had time to paint that up, actually. I love how that one turned out.
Yeah, so Ron did a lot of modifications on the miniatures, cut off the arms, put up some extra missile pods, so that they actually represented what you saw was what you got.
Heck yeah,
he
That was
a lot of work.
Definitely good effort.
He did a Sumter M, I think it was, and he had actually had
the J.
It was the J, excuse me.
Or no, Summer B. Yeah.
It had all the missiles on it. He had the Even Jag A, I think it is.
Charlie.
Out there. Yep. You had the Nova Cat B out there, modified. You had a Mad Dog out there that was modified. And you also had
a couple Mad Dogs out there modified. Had the C and the S. I had the Adder A, Mad Dog, or Timberwolf S, Timberwolf A. Warhawk A, Warhawk B, Warhawk Charlie.
And in case you guys also didn't catch it on the table, I was actually in his force.
Oh yeah, your mech warrior from the books. Yeah.
I actually put him in his own force. He was in his Alpha Warhawk.
So who was that, Bradley? What's your character's name?
Bowman. Bradley Bowman.
Bradley Bowman. Yeah.
And occupying a direwolf or
nope. Warhawk A.
Warhawk A. All the strength. It's in the book of Forever Faithful. I was really shocked that I was in that book, and not knowing what kind of character you'd be, to find out that I was put in the mech, I was like, what? And then to find out that it was a Warhawk, I was like, oh, are you kidding me? That's a bomb. But it was like, I quit. I was like, hey, though.
Hey, question, Bradley. And who wrote that book? Who's the author of that book?
Oh man, I'm drawing a big blank right now.
Blaine Lee Pardo.
Blaine
Lee Pardo.
Blaine. Yep.
Okay.
So, Brad, did you have any modified or what would you consider like your star or special units that were out on the field?
Ooh, definitely stars were not there just yet. There was the battle armor force that I came in with the maximum transport. I put the
Trial of Grievance, Trial of Grievance.
You can bring them. They got the modification to the transports I did was a simple one. I put the handheld bars on it, paid the PV for each one of them, do it. That way the transports could have X-Mech capability for battle armor. And
now that is part of a campaign thing, correct? It's not in the
that is correct.
Campaign.
That is campaign. I thought it was pretty neat because it already was able to carry 16 battle armor, and then just being able to add another one on top was just icing on the cake. Especially for how the battle armors worked. The next thing that I used was on almost all my tanks, every single one of them had the smoke round capability. When it would turn around and come to a position, it shoots out a little light smoke. It provides a light cover. The vehicle moves, it turns around and gets to its next position. It would fire off another canister of the light smoke to give it cover, so it's moving from cover to cover.
I actually didn't intend to write the rules the way you used them, but I like the way you did it, so I'm going to be incorporating that. So the way I intended it is it was going to be basically a permanent smoke on the field, but that created the problem where you could potentially have 30 smoke rounds going off on the field. Mm-hmm. And according to the rules, you got to roll a 10 or higher. So if you never roll a 10, the smoke never goes away. But the way you did it, it was like, okay, so it's a 10-second, deployment of smoke, and then you move to your new location and deploy smoke again. And I'm gonna incorporate that in the rules moving forward.
It's so much easier. I mean, when you're already playing a big game, you don't need to bog it down.
Yeah,
if you can cut out,
and that cleaned up a lot. So I love even though it was an unintentional reading of the rules, it works perfectly. Like I said, I'm using it.
Another thing is I used the bolt-on system on the Awesome. It had the PPC mounting on it. It cost 2 overheat to fire it, but it adds an extra point of damage. I just made that awesome. It was already doing 4.44. Now it could do 5.55 at range long. And plus he was a sniper, so
Could it though.
Another one was my favorite, and he really didn't get close enough for me to use it too much, was the SRM-16 capability, where it was enabling me to get a single shot of SRM-3 at medium range, and all I did was just load those up with TC rounds. That and the medium laser were majority of my bolt-on systems that I used from the campaign.
Yeah.
But
right, so
almost every mech was modified just slightly. There is truth to that.
So let's cover the actual strategies that were going on. So it was a city fight. We have walls dividing the Bradley's side of the city is pretty much cut in half by the walls. Big opening in the center and 2 small doors or gates in the middle of the walls. Mm-hmm. On the other side, Ron had to navigate through the city itself, which was full of, probably 24 buildings that were blocking line of sight.
There was 32 buildings.
That's a lot.
I just clicked on it on the.
Yeah, it was
map.
a lot.
Yeah, but we wanted to have a real city fight, and it was a fort that I was defending. What was the battle again? Planet.
Matamoras.
Okay. But yeah, we'll be switching over to the round by round in just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is we'll do a follow-up.
Ready? Alright, first thing I do when I look at a map or a battlefield is study the terrain, figure out where my fighting points are, strong points, avenues of approach for both me and my opponent. Now, looking at this this is not going to be his setup. Coming straight up the middle is not going to be a chance for him because that's a straight shot.
Yeah, from anything in there, that line.
It's a dead zone. But it's also what we call in the military funnel of death. And that's what that is. I got a feeling that Ron is going to go that way. Curve that way.
Building discovery,
Yep, that's what I would do. As far as being the defender, I have my battling group, reserve, and my other battle group. They're going to be part of my false flag. Come in, hopefully, turn 3. Back here is where I want them to come in. But if I fail to roll, you're going to come this way and that way.
They have an off-board movement.
That's part of the command special ability that I'm using. You get one quarter of your force.
Gotcha.
can be part of that. And then by turn 3, you roll a die, and it's 8 or better. They come in that turn, and in the turn they come in, you get a +2 to your initiative roll, and they move. They get placed and they move that turn. So it really depends at that point which way I go.
So do your setup.
Oh, I'm going to do my setup. Now comes I have a grand total, according to our book, I have 16 battle armor. I'm not going to put 16 minefields down. I'm only going to do 6. 2 are right here.
Round 1, fight!
Alright, as you see, my opponent is doing exactly what I thought. He's pretty strong on the flank. I'm countering it. These units that are behind the wall all jump. So next turn, same thing with these guys. This will be the same, so I'm going to be able to put 2 lances on each of my flank. I got armor units coming up. The spotter is also going to be able, for my missile boats, which is that there, and those 2 tanks back there. Yep, they're going to shoot the 4 cluster rounds. That's really it. The biggest thing I'm worried about, honestly, is trying to do as much damage to these cluster units. He's going to walk into the trap.
Okay, he's already right there.
He's already very close to that. Yeah.
So you got line of sight to this guy.
Yep.
On range. And that's his ECM unit.
Yep, I have to kill it.
I don't think that Viper has.
No, it's
long
in
range.
the open.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's long range, so yeah.
That's his only tactical error that he did.
Yeah. These 2, I think.
But if I don't start,
Well, he doesn't know about one of the type of
this right here really worries me. This is
That's a
a
heavy power. That's
this is a formation just like off of the bulls of the bull, the horns of the bull.
yeah.
That's his center. These are his flanks. He still hasn't removed his reserve star, which is nothing more than a missile boats.
So you got line of sight over there
Yep.
to.
The doors are open.
Yeah, the door's open, so that's Cyclops' or Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt and the Awesome and the Battle Master can all shoot at this guy here.
Yep, that's the awesome gun for me. That was not to do some serious.
Oh yeah, it's got the PPC added to it, so now
Jesus. Brad.
It didn't mean anything. Yeah, it did, because now it does 5 points of damage. That false flag, he's now left his backfield open. I can either hit this and take this out from the rear, or I could come over on this flank and just wipe it out. Or next turn is really when I'm going to try to bring him in. We'll see on the false flag. Just patience. Set your trap. Wait for your opponent to get into it and then hit him. Yes.
Silatron, Artemis.
Yeah, no, those are arrows. Those are
These
the
are
prime.
arrows.
I did have the option to make myself a C3 network, but I haven't done that yet. So I have.
Well, the thing I think is funny
capability.
is technically you have 1, 2, 3 commandos out there.
I have quite a lot of battlefield intelligence.
So, yeah.
That's a key thing. And now, if you're going to be using these things, use them.
Alright. So what was your strategy on this turn?
Because we saw you move here, and you moved those guys out of back there.
Yeah.
But you really, that center force pretty much did minimum movement.
They don't move that much, they're all assaults.
Oh yeah, I know.
6 inches of movement, 8 inches of movement max.
So are you looking for a specific target at this point?
Trying to get that Black Knight. And then just whatever opportunity shows up.
So yeah, we looked at this and you got line of sight to the Black Knight
That's
there.
fine.
You also have line of sight from this guy over here. But that also opens both of them up to
Shots too.
turn fire.
Yeah, that's fine. I can trade a light for a heavy. But, no, like I said, I'm playing loose. I'm not really having any strategy. Just playing loose. I don't strategize, I play loose. 9 times out of 10, playing loose, you luck into something. So it's, I'm fluid. I don't have a set plan. I just react or I move, and then that's what I play off of.
Okay.
Main thing is, it's just like I said, I think I got shots maybe from the stone rhino as well. In the center here.
So you're forcing them back. Those are all indirect fire guys?
These are, yes. Except for the one bodyguard. They got a little bodyguard. You see something fast comes up and the Warhammer. They've got battle armor as well, just to defend off. They're going to move up here next round. I plan on it. But right now, the Slav and missiles is their job. It's their harassment. More harassment.
Okay.
And then, like I said, I do have a shot with the stone rhino as well, and that's going to hurt. So does the Kino. So, I believe the Dire might also, if I'm not mistaken.
Alright, let's get
But we'll see what happens. See what happens.
Round 2. Fight!
Alrighty, as we can see, the opponent is definitely progressing on the furthest flank here. He's definitely using the terrain to help protect himself on that side. The only thing that I'm going to have to do is when you're looking at your opponent, look how he's coming at you and direct your forces to be there. Don't rush your opponent. In these cases, these one-on-ones, if you can do some good damage, do it. Start lining yourself up with your missile boats. Turn around and start using them. Make them stand still so they get the -1 to hit. And make sure you're at least in long range or medium range for it to be effective. Try to paint them with tag if you can. Next thing is try to anticipate what he's going to shoot at, like I did here. I knew if I put a lot of meat up front, it would either draw his forces to come out into the center or force him to try to focus. Because that's what I'm trying to make him do. I'm trying to make him come into the center because I still have 2 minefields here. So I want to draw him, keep him going, but with this now, this is where all the artillery strikes are going to go. I'm going to try to take these mechs down. I don't like that.
No.
This is where I sit back and I look at my opponent and realize what is doing the most damage. That, depending on what this does, this is not so much. But definitely goals are for targeting, taking out that Mad Cat, trying to do as much damage as I can to the center line, and then do some fanatical damage over this way. I realized first off that my tactical error was keeping myself this far back. But now I feel like he's pushing through the city. He's through the city almost. But in a way, that's what I kind of want, because the next turn is when my unit's going to come in. And I can either come in right here, and the amount of damage that I'm able to do from each transport is equivalent to 12 points of damage. With the 4 battle armor that are in it, plus their transport does 3 points, and if I put them behind, it's 4. The infantry do 2, 1. They got TC Inferno, so it's gonna hurt. So
you
the
might
trap.
be able to take out that 4 damage.
I gotta.
Not worse damage, that's worse.
But I'm gonna take some hits here. This is gonna hurt.
You're gonna take that.
This right here is gonna rain some
Now,
fucking pain on me.
that last other scout on the other side over there, been taken out by ECM, has these 2 on this side of it.
No, he hasn't shot at them. They're shut down.
No, but they shut down because ECM.
Correct.
Alright.
I can't.
And you did get one behind his forces.
Correct. That's my spotter with the tag going, "Ha, bitch, I got you from the rear." Now, here's the thing. If it's spotting from the rear, does the unit firing get the potential for damage to the rear? Doesn't. But it's an interesting perspective. It's like all the missiles. Shh.
Who won initiative on this round?
I did.
Okay, so he'll have to fire first.
Yeah, he'll fire first.
So this is what I was looking at myself. So this is your ECM
Yep.
guy who's taking out your 2 drones. since he has to fire first, if he ignores the drones, you take that guy out, these guys are back in play next round, and
Yep.
they're still alive.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see if he goes for the drones because they're easy targets, but he's got meaty targets further down,
I think he's going to ignore the drones.
and that's going to be a mistake.
I think that's his biggest mistake. Is he should have took the drones out
Why they had a chance? Why they couldn't move?
because he's never faced them before.
But he does have this battle armor that is base to base with that one. So
Theoretically, that's what I would do.
yeah. But this one doesn't have anybody base to base, so
No,
it'll be
but if
interesting.
you ignites the minefield, they're both on the minefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these minefields don't do damage. They
Shut
pose.
them down.
It's an it puts them in an ECM field. They're already shut down. My units are already shut down, so it doesn't affect me. And they're
So
drones.
these aren't boom boom type minefields.
No.
No, they do. It's a 6-inch diameter. 6 inches. Everything within 6 inches of that, all around, is affected by that minefield. It gives a +1 heat and a +2 to its attack dice for 3 turns.
In bad.
That's brutal. Now, the question is it a cumulative? If I set both those minefields off,
No. The ECM only affects one ECM minefield. Or take effect.
so I can just detonate just only one though this turn and get the effect and save it for the next.
Except I think they detonate all.
No, it does. You declare which one you want to set off. It doesn't say you're setting off the minefields. You have to have a unit valid to that area to set it off. My question was, if I set them both off, is the effect doubled?
No,
But I
it's
don't
not-
think so.
it's not
So I'm gonna fire one off and save the other one.
So yeah, I was like I said, I'll be honest with now. I knew Bradley's gonna think I was gonna play the long game. I'm not. Most of my units are set to be more mid to short range brawlers. I do have some support mechs that do have indirect fire. That's why I really wasn't showing my hand a lot, kind of joking around. But that's what I'm trying to do is, I want him to engage, thinking he's gonna have the upper advantage in medium short when I've actually got more damage to him at those ranges. Because I've got some hitters that are like 9s and 8s coming up. So it's just a bigger smack than what I think he thinks I'm gonna have. So hopefully I can drop some things. We'll see. And I know I got minefields and other things to deal with, but it is what it is. I am playing my planners full out. For me, being the lore nut, I know the Jaguars, they don't really look at things and go, oh, let's just go through this. No, they push their heads in and just go. And that's how I play my Jaguars. Win, lose, or draw. Like I said, I don't play to have wins under my belt. I don't play to have glory or victory. I just play to have fun. So that's, to me, having fun. Get your butt in here.
Impressive.
So the battle is over. You guys have concluded. Who is the victor?
It was definitely me by far. I mean, it was overall strategy was to deny the Jags from getting inside the fort and just homolizing them, pretty much like it happened in lore. It was my objective was to keep him out of that fort.
All right. And if you had to play this game again, what would you do differently? We'll start with you, Ron.
I would have picked some different units.
Really? What was your deciding factor on that?
It was basically kind of really heavy. I didn't have a lot of faster units, so I was kind of slow on the table. So I needed speed to get through the city faster.
Talk about that. I literally thought Ron was going to have a speed army.
Yeah, because I usually do play speed. I was trying to throw my tactics off on you because you've played me I don't know how many times, so you kind of knew I was speed, so I tried to do something different. But I'd definitely go back to my faster units.
You almost pulled it off. There's no lie about that, dude. Don't sell
Oh, I
yourself
know.
short.
It was close. I'm not selling it short at all, man. It was a fun fight, but it was definitely having some, I think, a little bit more mediums than stuff like that, and some little bit faster units maybe. Bring more to the table than just the 20, the 5 stars.
So you think you need more, like 6 stars, 7 stars, maybe?
Yeah, probably just a little bit more force besides the heavier units. Yeah, the heavier units threw some weight down there, but just trying to get through what was going through with the city and the artillery and the minefields and stuff like that. Just something to push that speed a little bit faster because my units were not that fast. I did have a fast force, but I had to stay back so I wouldn't get overwhelmed one star getting cut off.
Yeah, you really only had, I'm looking at the map now, and you really only had 2 avenues of attack that gave you a straight line of fire. It seemed to me like you weren't able to get your guys into medium range. So some of your guys were pretty heavily biased towards medium range instead of long range. So you needed to get those guys up into medium range faster. I mean, from my analysis, I would have had those guys sprinting first 2 rounds. So you would have been at least in range. Now, you would have kicked off Bradley's ambush a little sooner.
Well, that's the whole thing. I knew it was coming because, like I said, it was a campaign fight, but based heavily on lore. So I knew there was going to be minefields. I knew there was going to be artillery. So yeah, I played it kind of cautiously, and I kind of balled up, like I said in the lore. I played lore. I was op 4. I played lore the best I could, just to have fun with it. And like I said, but I do realize that the mistakes and stuff like that, I did need a little bit faster units just to get through the city, so I could actually disrupt things a little bit faster.
Right. All right. So Bradley, what about you? What would you do different?
Basement.
Basement?
Placement, yes, sir.
Oh, placement. Okay.
Yes, placement. I had my army all the way in the back. I actually had to sprint the first turn to get myself in a better position. I was not set correctly from the start. Correct.
Yeah, I was surprised how far back you started with everything. I figured you would have started.
Yeah, you were farther back than I was.
Yes, there was 2 things to that. One, I got an idea of watching where my opponent was going.
Yeah.
Because he technically was still on his side of the map, so I was like, that's where set up looked at. I think he set up first before me, or was it me that set up first? I think you did.
Yeah, I think it was Clans had to set up first.
Clan set up first because I lost that initiative.
Because I did see that he did have some speed. Even though he's got vultures, mad cats, Thors, those things are still going 10 inches of move.
Oh yeah, I had the speed with the heavies and stuff like that, but I didn't have the mediums. I didn't have the mediums or the light mechs to kind of just get in there and kind of pick at you, flanking stuff. It was basically push pull in.
I've got to admit, Ron, I was shocked you didn't have dashers on the board. Or something else, something like that,
Well, like I said, I was totally going to throw Bradley a curve because he already sat there and says, "Oh, he's going to be fast, or he's going to play the long game because Clans." I really didn't want to play the long game, and I was like, he already knows how I play fast, so if I throw something in him, it might throw him off.
And did it, Bradley?
Yeah, he did have me a little bit of shock because he put some sluggers in the middle. I mean, he put that Turkina up there. He put that Mad Dog. Iron Cheetah V out there. He put that Trail Wolf out there, and that was no joke. Anything that came through the center gate was gonna get hosed.
Stone Rhino 7.
Yep. It was. He had a good anchor center. There was no way, and I was just like, I'm gonna have to come out into the city on the sides. It was an immediate. That 1 star stopped me from forming a proper center. He had the center. Our fight was mostly for the flanks.
Yeah, definitely.
So this game lasted 4 combat rounds, but you guys were in extreme range round 1 and long range round 2. So so Bradley, you won the field. The Clans had to withdraw. That left behind a whole bunch of stuff. What was your after action? What kind of things did you end up doing after the battle?
Well, I got according to our campaign, after the battle was over, you have 6 rounds before you're vacated, before the mission is completely over. So for those turns, I brought in the next, right after the Clans vacated, and they paid their ransom to get their Galaxy Commander back, which cost them 2 mechs and 4 points of elementals to get her back. But all the other pilots I turned over to the Star League Defense, so he could have his guy back.
So you had some salvage rights on that too, so you got some money.
The beginning, I turn around and during negotiations for the contract, I put for 50%. I always do 50% for salvage because that's where the money's at in this game. Really, honestly, for campaign is if you can control the field, then you get all the rewards. I think my total takedown out of his force was out of 25 mechs, I took out 15. Out of 22 elementals, I took out 8. I was able to salvage 11 mechs out of the 15 that fell. Because my engineers came in the next turn and were like, oh, this still works. Roll 8, 7, 9, 10, 12. No, but didn't get some mechs. And some mechs I destroyed outright in a battle, and I shed a tear, especially watching the Dreo Wolf fall from the building.
Yeah.
Boom. I was like, I wanted that mech, but unfortunately it took a destruction hit that destroyed the unit itself. The Gladiator, Executioner fell in the same manner. And I think there was another mech that went down from destruction. I can't remember which one the other one was. But I did get some pretty good clan stuff out of it. Cougar C was one of the mechs that I picked up. Let's see. Got some nice recon mechs. He had a Grendel that I was able to retrieve, Dragonfly, Hankyu, and Ice Cheetah as well. +2 Mad Cats and a Vulture. The Crown Jewel is the new Iron Cheetah owned by Brad's Heavy Cavalry. Yes.
So one thing I forgot to ask earlier is you guys did have alternate ammo, and I think, Ron, you had some really good effective alternate ammo that you used.
Oh, the Swarm LRMs? Yeah, that was fun.
So Bradley sprinted out towards the entrance. He was in extreme range. We used the alternate ammo rules with the extreme range rules, reducing damage by 1. And what was it? The swarm missiles went through 3, 4, 5 different mechs before it finally hit its mark.
He shot. I put 1 lance up forward out the main gate. That was the Black Knight, 2 Warhammers, and a Marauder. And he went after the Black Knight. He went after it when it would hit the Black Knight. It missed the Warhammer. Then it went to the other Warhammer, miss, and then it went to the Marauder in the back, and ding, 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 ding.
That thing was a missile magnet, that's for sure. It's like it's not even the one you're shooting at, and you're still killing it.
It was not. That was funny. Yeah.
He took it out.
I think that whole lance took stars.
Yeah, you took down the Black Knight. You took down the Warhammer 2C1. It's the C2, not the 2C.
Yeah. I had a C3 on my side. Or
C2
also on my side.
You had a C2 on your side. That's a pretty nice mech. 6.63. Not so great on the armor protection, but it was there.
It was there for the fire support star.
You shooting those missiles actually took out my sniper hot dog mech. The Marauder had to sit in the backfield through the whole entire game. Didn't even get to shoot. Not once.
Yeah, it's still alive, but ineffective.
Took it out. There was nothing, and I wasn't about to stick it up front with long-range games of his Trakina throwing 6 dice at me. I was like, oh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, the center was a lot of damage.
I mean, so you covered that pretty well. I mean, I have wind up in loss. I lost 7 mechs, 3 vehicles, and 1 squad of battle armor. My total loss in this game.
Yeah.
Only had 1 crew get killed, the Typhoon, that he just destroyed. BAM!
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty much a good wrap-up, I think, of the campaign fight. So I think we'll just close it off here, and we can we'll have a video of this and obviously the audio podcast of this.
Well, here it is.
Yeah, I have a couple questions I want to ask.
Yeah, go for it.
Ron,
Yes.
how did you enjoy having to face combat vehicles? Because I know normally you don't play with a lot of combat vehicles.
I had no
Unless it's
problem with it.
350.
Yeah, I had no problem with it.
I was just...
like I said, I'll just mention, like I said, the false flag trial grievance. Right there, like I said, that false flag, the flank on that left flank side there, it totally just caved in that left side because you had, like you said, all your transports I could think of as like Fortunate Son, and here they come blazing in off, air cav.
Yep.
Except it was hover. As soon as I saw them come up, I'm like, oh, this is gonna hurt, and it did. Kind of backed up a little bit, trying to limit the options you could have on it, but then I was sitting there thinking about it. And then I was thinking about it too. I'm like, I don't know what your battle armor had on it, but there was buildings there. I should have jumped up on top of them. But I didn't think about that at the time.
You could have got jumped up like mice. There's a mice underneath the table.
Right. Because I know you had battle armor. But
3-inch jump, that's it. That's all you got. For them little armors. Yeah, my battle armor mostly, I had 4 squads of the infiltrator.
For Cavaliers.
And everything else was Cavaliers. The SRM teams, Inferno teams. The infantry were pretty nasty in itself. It's meant to get in there and do damage to a mech company and basically cut wherever I think is where the enemy is attacking me, their teeth and their strongest. That's where that battle armor company goes. And it's in there. 2 things is going to happen: either A, it's going to take it out, or it's going to cripple it. And I may lose a lot of infantry, but that's what the infantry are for. Sorry for
kind of cannon fodder. But we did leave all the dead on the field, so if it's dead, it was just laid down.
Yep, laid down round 4.
Yeah. But
we'll get this all visualized and try to get it as compact as possible, so we have the play-by-play, and we might do another follow-up to kind of review each round. But I think this is probably enough to get us through at least this episode. I'm sure it's going to be more than an hour's worth of material at this point already.
I do got to ask you guys, okay, of all of you guys, what was the biggest thing you learned from seeing this fight?
I'll start it off. Your use of minefields, using a controlled minefield instead of you step on it, it goes boom. That one I had never heard of before. Now I know to use it when I come to campaign games. The other thing I learned was that never plan for your opponent to do what they've always done. Because I know you were expecting Ronald to come charging down, and he started by playing the long game, which caught you by surprise, because you were expecting speed, Bradley. And Ron, I think on your side, I kind of gained a lot of respect for her, believe it or not, your forces, because I think that's the second largest battle, if not the largest battle I've ever seen played. And I think that was the largest battle you ever played in. And I thought you did well.
I've played bigger. The key thing for playing bigger battles is just keeping your sheet. If you look on the side of the video and stuff, you'll see I have my sheets spread out. That's all my stars, and they're labeled what star it was. And all my elementals had numbers on the back of them, so I knew what star they belonged to and where they came from. Yeah. So it's just keeping track of your units and keeping away on there to know, okay, well, this unit is riding this mech, so if it gets hit and it takes damage, I know to mark the right elemental off of it or whatever. If it jumps off now, I've got the number on the backside so I can find it on my sheet and make sure I'm marking the right elemental. It's just organization, stuff like that. This is actually the second biggest game I've played. I've actually played a bigger one actually in Classic, where it was a whole weekend and it was a long weekend, but it was classic. crunchy tech. I loved it. But my mental math was done after Sunday of doing that. But that was 6,500 BV, and so that was a whole weekend. So we did 2,600 in 6 hours. I'll take that.
What about you, Randall? What did you learn from this?
I was watching the battle armor. So battle armor were not that effective until they were kind of being used as extra armor. But once you got close enough to use them to deploy them, then they were effective as an attack. But I thought that's where I was like, yeah, you really needed to sprint 1 or 2 rounds to get a couple of your guys into closer range.
Yeah, that. I didn't have my maximum efficiency to get those, like you said, get the elementals in play, start wreaking havoc on his mechs, wreak havoc on his tanks or anything like that. Because, like I said, I did have some faster units, but I didn't have my normal drop-off delivery. Run out there, drop off the battle armor, let them cause chaos. Yeah, that's why I said I just needed some faster units.
Right.
I probably could have.
Now they had medium range damage, right?
Yeah, they had 1, and then short range was 2. The gnomes that were on my assault star for Showers, the star, the actual command star for the 19th, I put gnomes on there, and they had a range of medium for 3, so they were throwing 3 down too.
Yeah, that was hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, that center was the whole center was a brick wall. So when they jumped off too, that's 3 more points that now they're adding, and I didn't lose any of those guys right off the bat. The only ones I really lost were my elementals on my other mechs, and I had some salamanders too that just dropped off of them. My salamanders were on my fastest lance because I was hoping to get some heat damage to vehicles and some mechs and stuff like that, but unfortunately I just couldn't get them in play fast enough.
And also, you got them in play. The biggest whiff that you did have was those.
Yes, 2 anti-mech attacks on both of that. Those 2 Typhoons on the Rommels. Yes. Oh.
All right. So backstory.
Snake Eye.
Yeah, Ron surrounds these tanks with his imps, and you needed what, 5s?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5s to hit, and missed.
I wrote them off.
Like,
both of them were Snake Eyes. Both rolls.
I thought those things were gone.
Yeah, they should have been. By all means, they should have been. But whiffed a 5. The dice did not like me.
Dice gods are fickle, that's for sure.
Now, this is another thing, Ron. I need to know, there was something that you saw that I used that you don't never see in anybody else's game. Drones.
Oh yeah, that threw me for a loop too. That was something new I never saw. So,
drones are my go-to aces. They're the one-hit wonder, and he ignored them until it was already too late.
Yeah, tag with drones and spotting for indirect fire.
Yeah, it took me 1 round to learn that, and I got rid of the 2, but then I lost track of the other one, and it was still calling artillery somewhere. So.
Yeah, it was behind you at that point.
Yeah, I can actually see it right now, sitting there tagging stuff up. But
you can see it's that little black dot right there.
Yeah, I see it now. I see it.
30-inch move, man. You can go anywhere.
But.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this thing up. So this is Randy.
Yeah,
Brad,
that's
say goodbye.
See ya.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
All right, Ron, goodbye, and Jose.
Bye, Ron.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
All right,
See you guys.
Impressive. Finish him!